Hello everyone, welcome back to the Misostudy.com, and in this session we are going to discuss the chapter named as Transport in Plant for the NEET Biology. In this session we are again discussing some important questions from NEET point of view one by one. Let's start the session with the first question from Transport in Plants. The first question from the chapter is: when carrier protein simultaneously allows movement of two molecules across a membrane in the same direction, the process is called uniport, antiport, symport, or none of these. When we are discussing about the movement, we know that the carrier proteins allow transport only if two types of molecules move together. And when two types of molecules are moved together, such type of transport is known as a co-transport, also known as a co-transport. It is of two types. When we discuss about co-transport is of two types, named as symport and next is antiport. Symport and antiport. In symport, first we are going to discuss about the symport. In symport method of co-transport, both molecules cross the membrane in same direction and at the same time. So when we discuss about co-transport is classified as a two types, symport and antiport. Symport is the transport of the molecules, both the molecules when cross together the membrane in the same direction and they generally move together at the same time. When we discuss about the second type of movement of co-transport, that is antiport. Antiport movement of or method of co-transport, in which both molecules move in opposite direction and when a molecule moves across a membrane independent of other molecule, such type of movement is also known as a uniport. So in the discussion we discuss about the three types of movement and transport process in the plants. First, co-transport is the mechanism in which two types of molecules move together. It is further classified as a symport and antiport. Symport, in which both the molecules travel in the same direction and at the same time. Antipode is the both molecules move in opposite direction even in the same time or in the opposite time. And third type of movement is unipode, when a molecule moves across a membrane independent of the other molecule. There is a no relation or correlation between the two molecules together in the plant. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is sympode. The right answer for the question is sympode. Let's take the right one, because in the question already mentioned when two molecules travel in the same direction, and in the discussion we discuss is the process when two molecules move together in same direction is known as a sympode. Let's discuss the next question from transport in plants. Next one is, when Turgor pressure become equal to the wall pressure, then option A, water leaves the cell, B, water enters the cell, C, no net exchange of water take place between cell and external medium, D, solute goes from the cell into external medium. When we discuss about Turgor pressure, what is Turgor pressure? Turgor pressure is when water enters the cell of plant cytoplasm and generally exerts an outward pressure. They generally apply force toward outward direction, outward pressure. Then these such kind of pressure that are generally outward facing, such pressure is known as a Turgor pressure. Now we got to know that Turgor pressure is the pressure when water enters the cell of plant cytoplasm and exerting outward forcing or outward movement showing pressure. Such kind of pressure is known as a Turgor pressure. As we all know, in all plant cells there is a presence of cell wall, and we all know that cell wall is basically rigid. Along with the rigid, they generally show the another property such as a flexibility. That's why they exerts an equal and opposite pressure against the expanding protoplasm. We all know that all the plant cells are bounded by the cell wall, and cell wall generally rigid and also show the flexible movement. Because of these two properties possessed by the cell wall, they exert equal and opposite pressure against the expanding protoplasm by the Turgor pressure. And when there is a condition when Turgor pressure is equal to the wall pressure, there is a condition occur in the plant cell when Turgor pressure is equal to the wall pressure, then there is no net exchange of water take place, and there is no net exchange of water or no inward movement of water generally seen when Turgor pressure is equal to the wall pressure. And in that condition we also said that there is equilibrium condition is established. Equilibrium condition is established because of the Turgor pressure is equal to the wall pressure, equilibrium condition is established in the plant cell. So according to the discussion, right answer for the question is option C, which generally mention about the Turgor pressure and the wall pressure and the condition achieved as a equilibrium. So let's mark the right answer, that is option C, which mention no net exchange of water take place between the cell and external medium when Turgor pressure equal to cell wall pressure and wall pressure. When there is a no net exchange, that condition is only persist when Turgor pressure is equal to the wall pressure. So this is the right answer in this case. Let's discuss the next question from transport in plants. Next is, in potato osmometer, which of the following processes is evolved? A. Physical process, B. Physiological process, C. Chemical process, and D. Physiochemical process. When we discuss about potato osmometer, in potato osmometer, potato scoop is filled with agar solution, and that is capped in a beaker, containing water. That beaker is full of water, containing water. Now, due to the process of osmosis is what? Net movement of water molecules from a region of their higher concentration to a region where their concentration is low. We are here discuss about the process of osmosis. Osmosis is what? The net movement of water molecules, and that water molecule movement is generally shown from a region of their higher concentration travel to the region where their concentration is low. They generally travel to higher to lower concentration, and that generally possessed through a differentially permeable membrane. And due to the process of osmosis, water comes inside the potato. These potato is generally capped in the scoop when capped in the agar solution. So water is generally moved inward in that solution, and hence a chemical gradient is developed. Due to which there is physical movement of, due to the chemical gradient developed, there is a physical movement of water. So that's make the process or movement of water is known as a physiochemical process. Why we name it as a physico-chemical process? Because it generally involves the physical movement and involves the chemical reaction in the process. So the right answer for the question that according to the discussion is the physiochemical process is the right one in this case. Let's mark the right one in the option, that is option D. In potato osmometer, following process is evolved, that is physiochemical, because it generally involves physical changes and the chemical reaction and chemical changes both in the potato osmometer. So the right answer is option D. Let's discuss the next question from transport in plants. In Epiblast pathway, water moves exclusively through the option A, plasmodesmata, B, cell walls, C, intercellular spaces, D, both B and C. Before discussing in detail about the process, first of all we'll discuss about the Epiblast pathway. Epiblast pathway generally consists of non-living parts of plant body. Epiblast pathway is generally consist of non-living parts of plant body, for example, or cell walls and intercellular spaces. That is, cell walls and the intercellular spaces consist as the non-living part of plant body. In the Epiblast pathway, water passes from root hair to xylem, and that movement is generally through the walls of intervening cells. These is generally occur through the intervening cells without crossing any membrane or cytoplasm. When we discuss about the Epiblast pathway is generally encountered the white water passes from root hairs to the xylem, and that generally done by or through the wall of intervening cells without crossing any membrane and the cytoplasm. Hence the pathway provides the least resistance to the movement of water. However, it is interrupted by the presence of impermeable ligno-Siberian Casparian strips and that kind of strips are present in the walls of endodermal walls. We are here discussing about the Epiblast pathway. In that, the movement of water is interrupted by the presence of impermeable ligno-Siberian Casparian strips that is present in the wall of endodermal wall. So according to this, we generally discuss about the Epiblast pathway. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is option D. Option D, we generally discuss and explain about both the processes, that is intracellular and cell wall. Because when we discuss about the Epiblast pathway, it generally tell us about the cell wall that generally secretes the ligno-Siberian Casparian strips present in the endodermal wall, and what are the conditions facing by the intercellular spaces. So both the option are right one. So according to the discussion and the answer, the right answer for the question is option D, which generally includes both B and C, because both the option are right one in this case. Let's discuss the next question from transport in plants. The next one is, which of the following is not true regarding guttation? Option A, water is given out in the form of droplets. Water given out is impure. Water is given out in the morning. And option D, guttation occurred due to high transpiration. When we discuss about guttation and process regarding guttation, first of all we discuss about the process of guttation. The loss and excretion of water, in form of liquid droplets, and that liquid droplets are secreted from the leaves and other parts of an uninjured or intact plant, and this process is known as a guttation. This process is known as a guttation. Guttation is what? The loss and excretion of water in the form of liquid droplets from the leaves and other part of uninjured or intact plant, and the process is known as a guttation. Exudation of liquid from the hydrathodes is generally due to the development of a positive pressure that positive pressure developed in xylem, because xylem is focused for the transport of water from the root hairs to the plant parts. Positive pressure developed in the xylem, and that generally present at the vein endings. The pressure forces the liquid out through the hydropods. That's why they coming out from the leaves or insect plants in the water droplets. So according to the discussion, guttation occurs when transpiration rate is very low as compared to the rate of water absorption. So guttation occurs when the transpiration rate is low as compared to the rate of water absorption by the plants. Due to the discussion and due to all this process of transpiration and guttation changing, root pressure is developed and water is pushed out through hydropods. So this is all about the guttation. According to the discussion, the right answer for the question is option D, because we generally check out the incorrect statement for the guttation, but we all the discussion we discuss about guttation generally occur when the transpiration rate is low as compared to the rate of water absorption, and guttation is generally the loss and excretion of water in the water droplets. Rest all the option A, B and C are true for the guttation. The option D is the wrong one. Guttation occurred due to high transpiration. No, guttation occurred due to the low transpiration. So option D is the incorrect one according to the guttation. So this is the right one in this case. Let's discuss the next question from transportation in plants. The question is, which of the following is not a purpose of transpiration? Option A, transportation of minerals from soil to all parts of plants. B, translocation of sugar from source to sink. C, maintenance of shape and structure of the plants. And D, cooling of leaf surface. Before discussing detail, first of all we discuss about what is transpiration. Loss of water. Transpiration is a process in which loss of water in the vapor form, and that generally done by when plants are or exposed parts of plants. What is transpiration? Transpiration is generally the loss of water in the vapor form by the exposed part of plant in the process is known as a transpiration. Transpiration supplies water for photosynthesis. So that's why it is a very important process. We all know that plants generally opt and form their food by themselves by the process of photosynthesis. As water evaporates through the stomata. Stomata is the minute pore present on the epidermal surface of the leaf. It generally followed the process of pulling of water because of the changing in water pressure, pulling of water, and that pull is done by the molecule by molecule molecule by molecule into xylem from leaf, into leaf from xylem, and that generally secrete the a scent of sap that is helpful in transporting minerals from soil to all parts of plants. Transpiration also help in maintaining the shape and structure of plant parts by keeping the cell in turgid position. Radiant heat falling on the plants, especially in the xerophytic plants. Radiant heat falling on the plants generally increases the temperature by which they generally proven as a dangerous to the plants. Transpiration generally by evaporating the water, they generally cool the leaf surfaces by evaporating water, and that generally done by because by the process of evaporating they down their temperature by 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. How they down their temperature? By evaporating water, and by evaporating they generally cool down the leaf surface, and due to which mineral salts are mostly distributed by rising column of sap. So this is all discussion about the transpiration. In all the discussion we got to know that transpiration is a process of evaporating of water from the exposed part of plant. Because of that they generally face the increase in their temperature, and by transpiration only they generally cool the leaf surface and down their temperature by 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. So according to the discussion, the right answer for the question is option B, because in the question we have to check out the process and the purpose which is not followed by the transpiration. That is option B, that is translocation of sugar from source to sink. No, this is the note the process followed by the transpiration. Apart for B, option A, C and D all are done by the or including in the process of transpiration. So B is the right one in this case. So student, this is all about the transport in plants. Hope student you like the lecture. Stay tuned with the Misostudy with such more sessions. Thank you very much.